Hi, I'm Dr. Tim Weir, and I gotta tell you, I love life. But when I'm not being a husband, a father, a grandfather, an author, or a practicing chiropractor, I'm the host of the television show Loving Life with Dr. Tim Weir. I love to cook. I love to travel. I like to spend time with people who do what they love and love what they do. Join me and Elvis for the next 30 minutes as we help you discover how to love life. Hey, you know, this show is all about loving life and doing things that you love, and just enjoying things. But sometimes things happen and you don't enjoy life, and you're questioning things and you're going through some stuff. So I have with me today a special guest. Her name is Catherine Nelson. She's from the Aspire Counseling Group. Catherine, thank you for being with me today.
Thank you for having me.
Well, tell me first, before we get into all that hubbub stuff, tell me a little bit about Catherine Nelson.
Well, I'm originally from Minnesota, if you can believe that.
Oh, Lord. Where in Minnesota?
Actually, right on the border of North Dakota. You might have seen the movie Fargo. So it's Moorhead, Minnesota and Fargo, North Dakota.
I'm from Wisconsin originally.
Oh, very nice. No accent, either one of us.
No, see, we hide it well.
We do. And I moved from there. I went to Nebraska for school, and then Southern California, Irvine, and got a BA in psychology, and then moved to Las Vegas, Nevada, thinking that I would go to, I know.
Wow.
Crazy choice, really crazy. Regretted it almost immediately. Thought I was going to go to UNLV for graduate school and disliked Las Vegas so much. Sorry, anybody out there who loves Las Vegas. But just, wasn't a fit for me. So I moved to Portland, Oregon, and went and got my MSW at Portland State University.
But can I stop you just a second?
Of course.
Because there are some people who would be in Las Vegas and think that they hate it, but they have to stay there.
Oh, right. Absolutely. I think that's all about empowerment and seeing yourself as a flexible person who adapts.
Yeah.
And almost all of my moves I made without knowing anybody.
Wow.
Yeah, because I like the adventure of it. I really enjoy kind of a fresh start and getting to get a new perspective. I think a lot of people like to visit places, but I think you get a whole different level of information when you live somewhere. So,
Okay.
And
I'm sorry, then you
no,
went
that's
from
fine.
Vegas
And
to...
so I accepted a commission with the United States Air Force and moved to Okinawa, Japan, and served my country there and enjoyed that, and then also went to San Diego from there and worked at the Naval Consolidated Brig and actually started the very first women offender program there, which still runs today. So that was good.
That's amazing.
Then I moved to Jacksonville, Florida, and then Bath, Maine, and then Hickory, North Carolina, and then Charlotte, North Carolina, and then San Antonio, Texas to go back to working with the military, and then back to Raleigh because I actually really like North Carolina.
It is a great place
It
to
is
live.
It's a beautiful place. I literally almost got into accidents when I moved back here because it's just so beautiful. You're like, I'm driving and I'm like, look at these trees. This is just a gorgeous place.
And the people are just incredible.
The people are very warm. Yes.
Very special
warm.
place.
Yes.
So all of this together kind of has formed you into what you are and who you are today.
Right, because you take pieces from each place, and I definitely have used each experience to really inform my practice and inform like my ability to be able to relate to people of all different backgrounds, because I think that's invaluable. Everybody wants to feel a connection with somebody, and a therapist, it's extremely important that they feel a connection to you. So
talk to me about young Catherine. What did you want to do when you were just a child? Did you?
Well, I grew up in a very strong Christian home.
Okay.
So that drove a lot of it, but I wanted to serve. I was in nursing homes before I could drive, working with people there and trying to reach out to people and have a connection.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of my life choices have been driven by that Christian background.
That is amazing. So talk to me then now about people who maybe can't feel a connection. Are there people like that?
Oh, absolutely. And I think part of my feeling of responsibility is because I've had such a good life, I wanted to help people who have struggled and who've had more challenges. And people who lack that connection, I think, often, especially in our society today, I mean, your show is all about like getting out and experiencing life, which is beautiful.
Yeah.
But you look at neighborhoods where they have garages, people don't even see their neighbors a lot of times because you come in, you go into your house, and your life is so isolated.
You know, I've said for years, I was actually at a Miami airport going somewhere, and there was a whole group of people going on a mission trip, and that's a wonderful thing to do. But my question to those people is, how many of your neighbors do you know?
Right.
And sometimes I think it's just easier for us to go out and share with people we don't know than that person right next to us.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Why is that? Is it?
Well, I think a lot of it is just driven by this negative self-evaluation and a huge escalation in our society of anxiety. I mean, you must know some people who have some anxiety issues, but in terms of what I've seen over the last 20 years, it has reached like epidemic proportions. It's like most people have some level of anxiety. And in this day and age, because we're so isolated, we're not really forcing ourselves to deal with that.
Right.
And instead we just pull in more and more and more to the point where we don't have any justification to go out and force ourselves to deal with that anxiety. Yeah, it's pretty sad.
Does that, you mentioned anxiety, is anxiety and fear close to the same thing?
Yeah,
Or?
I do think that people don't like the word fear. I think that, especially, I think men are particularly not excited about that. I think the go-to emotion for men is anger, which is more of a mask for fear, disappointment, sadness, grief, those kinds of things. So not to take us in a different direction, but I think those things are tied because a lot of times people aren't going to say, I'm anxious. You're going to see it. You're going to see the symptoms with them more so than anything.
So then we take that individually, correct me if I'm wrong.
No, yeah.
A man and a wife.
Yes.
And then we begin to feed it into our marriage. Is that right?
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think one of the hallmarks of marriage that people don't talk about much is these kind of pursuer-distancer roles. Do you know if you're a pursuer or a distancer, Ken?
No, but guess what I'm going to do?
You're going to ask me.
We're going to come back in just a couple of minutes and we're going to talk about whatever she was just talking about. Don't change the channel because we'll be right back. Hey, welcome back. We're with our guest, Catherine Nelson from Aspire Counseling Group, and we're talking about life and how it all affects us and
Relationships. Yes. So I was just leading in that most couples have roles, and they tend to be, one is more of a pursuer and one is more of a distancer, generally speaking. So the pursuer is the person who, when there's a disagreement, they're following the other person. And the distancer is the person who's leaving the room, trying to leave the house, trying to get away from the situation. So that dynamic is a challenge.
Now, let me ask you this. Does it, as far as personality goes, the pursuer, does that tend to be more of the outgoing extrovert?
Well, and the person who's more anxious, generally speaking. So, yeah, but I would say extrovert. It depends, though. It's amazing how this particular area just seems to be kind of innate in us. That the pursuer needs resolution. So they're going to be uncomfortable until they get resolution to whatever the topic is. And the distancer is somebody who needs to process, they need time, they need to decompress, maybe need to get their adrenaline, their blood pressure down. And what happens is when that other person follows them, it just keeps amping up more and more. So negotiating that process and agreeing that we'll take a 15-minute break and then we'll come back. Because the pursuer's fear is that we'll never come back to it if we take a break.
Wow.
So they need to know that there's an actual timeline on this, that we're going to get this resolved.
You know, and I don't know what I am.
Really?
But, I do like to just hold back. You know, if people come up to me and say, what do you think about this?
Right, you want time.
I like to think about it.
Yes, I'm the same way. Mm-hmm.
So, and sometimes people think that, mistake that.
Absolutely, right, as either being disengaged or aloof or all kinds of different things. And that's part of the problem of relationships, is that we assign meanings to things that are not necessarily true. You know, if I think that because I gave you this cup of coffee and now you're not drinking it, that must mean you don't like it, and therefore that's a negative reflection on me. So then I'm assigning all this meaning rather than just, hey, how do you like your coffee? you know, is there something else did you need sugar or cream or any of those? Rather than immediately personalizing it, we need to really make sure that we're checking and making sure, is this reality based?
So if this, in a marriage,
Yes.
If this goes on unchecked.
Right. Yeah, you end up with resentment and all kinds of buildup. And if we don't have conversations about it, which that's tricky. That's why I think therapy is so valuable, particularly in this area, because you've got an outside party who's objective. When I'm working with a couple, my absolute goal is to be as balanced as possible. I don't want anyone to feel like I am favoring one person over the other, which is a very difficult thing to do. But it's...
Because some people are just jerks.
I can find the good in just about anybody. So
Okay.
as long as they're not abusing animals, I can work with them.
So if somebody has an issue in their marriage,
Yes.
they can call you guys
Absolutely.
and
yes.
set up a time. And I think that's really important.
Yeah, and couples counseling is a challenge. It's a challenge for many reasons, but you want somebody who's really, that you feel a connection with. So back to
Yeah.
our kind of original point is that both people need to feel like this person gets us, that they're really invested in us, that they feel like they get what our issues are.
Yeah.
So it's not going to work if they feel like, hey, this person's just taking your side.
Right. And my wife and I just celebrated this past Monday our 41st anniversary.
Congratulations.
And the fact is, it's not easy.
It's not easy.
It
No.
is.
And we put out, most couples put out this image, and then other people think, oh, well, we must not be doing it right because
Right.
we're not measuring up to what our friends
Yeah.
look like. But if we really are honest with ourselves, we recognize that all couples are having challenges and difficulties, and it's just the ebb and flow of the relationships.
Wow.
So staying connected, staying in that state, one of the big words that I think couples miss is curiosity.
Yeah.
We lose that over time. It's like we think we know everything about this person. You start having conversations in your head where, hey, I'm going to tell him this, and it's like, but then he's probably going to say this, and then I'm going to say that, and this is not going to go well, and so we don't say anything. So that's how you end up with this distancing effect. that
So communication
doesn't work.
is just incredibly vital.
Well, and giving the other person the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
Making sure that you're not assuming that they're going to produce something negative just because that's what happened yesterday.
It's amazing.
Yeah, letting people to be a new person each day, right?
There's
And
a lot to life.
there is, and let's love it, right?
Yeah.
Let's engage it and have fun with this person. You need to laugh. I mean, do you laugh with your spouse?
Oh,
See, that's key. I think couples that don't laugh together
Yeah.
are definitely taking it too seriously and need to find some ways to lighten up.
so cool. So cool. Well, listen, if you're having some issues or if you need somebody to talk to, here's the website right here. Check them out. I'm telling you, life's too short to mess around. So find somebody if you're having some issues. We all go through stuff. No, I don't think there's anybody is there anybody who's perfect?
No. They might think
So,
they're perfect.
Yeah. Give her a call. All right, don't change the channel. We got a whole lot more coming up. Hey, I don't know about you, but I love animals, and I have always had the idea that I would love to have chickens, but it kind of scares me just a little bit. So my guests today are Joni, Todd, and Rebecca from Rent the Chicken. Hey, thanks for joining me today. I'd shake your hand, Todd, but I'm afraid that the chicken wouldn't. I'll shake the chicken's leg. Talk to me a little bit about this concept that you guys have of renting chickens.
Well, the whole idea started because people are scared of, owning chickens. They don't know what all it entails, that sort of thing. So this is a great way for people just to give it a try. We provide everything that you need for a 6-month rental, and we bring it to you. We pick it up when it's done, unless you decide to adopt the chickens, which most people tend to fall in love with their hens, and so they decide to hold on to them. Yeah. So, but yeah, everything that you need is provided for the 6 months, and give it a try.
So do you, because Todd's holding the chicken, petting the chicken, do you find that people kind of get attached to them and they become like pets almost?
They start by naming them, and then they become pets.
Wow.
Yes.
And it's like they're just like any dog or cat, and they're really gentle. And especially if you're handling them a lot, you can see she's pretty calm.
Yeah.
Right now. So they become pets.
Well, and the great thing about this versus a dog or a cat is they provide breakfast for you.
Exactly.
Well, that,
Exactly.
They provide helping to keep down your insect population. They also help to fertilize your grass.
Well, and I think that's an important concept for people to get. Chickens are really not grain animals. They go after bugs.
Exactly.
And insects.
Exactly.
And a lot of the chickens that you get eat grains.
Right.
Right, yeah.
And that's why a lot of times your yolks and the eggs that you buy at the store are not orange, because the orange comes from the protein of the chickens eating them. So when you get these kind of chickens that go out and they eat the bugs and they'll forage, they also get some grain on the side, but they're mainly protein. Then you find that the eggs are so much better for you.
And I'm telling you, if you've never had like a free range egg, you mentioned the orange color. That yolk is bright orange. It's not just a yucky yellow. It's just bright.
Right.
And it's a much better tasting egg.
Yes.
So let's talk about, they're in your backyard.
Right.
Do you need a huge yard?
No, not at all. The chicken tractor is designed, it helps them to get the fresh grass and bugs. So that way, every day you can take and you can move the tractor to a different location in your yard so that they can get fresh bugs, fresh grass, that sort of thing. So really all you need is enough room to move that around, you know, a few times here and there. So it does not require a whole lot of space.
So in the city limits.
Right. City limits is good.
You can still have chickens.
Exactly.
Now, because some people are worried about the rooster cock-a-doo and too early for the neighbors. You don't have a rooster.
No roosters involved. Right.
Wow.
And a lot of your city ordinances will allow you to have a couple hens as long as you don't have a rooster. So, I mean, it's a great way. You know, we make the coops so that they're predator proof, which normally you want a rooster to help protect your hens. So if you have it predator proof, you don't have to worry about it. So yeah, it works out great. It really does.
And eggs is one of the best things you can eat. I'm telling you, it's one of the best proteins that you can have. So what a great concept to do this. So we got rent the chickens and raise them and have chicken eggs.
Right.
We also have this program called Hatch the Chicken. Is that right?
Yes, that's correct. Yes.
Have you seen it?
Yes.
Really?
I'm part of it.
So what happens?
You put the eggs in the incubator for 21 days, and
What happens at the 21st day?
they
They come out?
no,
They hatch. At
They
21
hatch.
they
days,
start
right?
hatching.
They start pecking on the shell and coming out?
Yep.
Wow. So why we got this thing?
The flashlight is for when you can check and see if there's a chick inside,
Okay.
and
see if you got some good chicken eggs. And you have to get these from you can't get those from like the grocery store.
Oh no! These are straight from the farm. We have roosters, at least one rooster per 5 hens to make sure that there's a good breeding quality, and provide 7 eggs for the incubator. You usually have about an 80% hatch rate, so you should get at least 4 to 6 of the 7 eggs to hatch. Generally speaking, I mean, obviously you don't know for sure that the rooster has done his job, so we can't guarantee that, but that's usually what you expect.
So here I've got this thing here.
Incubator.
And the incubator, and then all of a sudden I got 7 chickens. What the world do I do with them?
you can get one of these cages like these, and then you put them inside.
Okay.
You got to make sure you have those
The food and the water.
and the shavings, and they also need a light.
But do I have to keep them?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. We provide everything that you'll need to keep them for a week or two. Normally 2 weeks is max. People
Yeah.
are tired of them after 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Because they start making messes and they get loud. And so we provide, once they hatch, you put them into our cage that we provide. We provide the heat lamp, everything that you need, the feed, everything.
Including the light.
Yes.
Because I'm telling you, because people think, well, I want to get chickens. Now I got to go out and buy this. I got to buy the cage, got to buy the light, got to buy this,
Right.
got to buy that. And then you get done with it and you say, oh, what am I going to do with this mess?
Right. Yeah, we'll come pick it up.
Wow.
Yes.
We pick everything up.
Now the way that we're breeding ours, we breed the hen. The hen is a barred rock, and we breed it with a rooster, which is a Rhode Island Red. So when the eggs hatch, they are sex linked. So you know immediately which one's a hen and which
Oh, wow.
is a rooster. So if you decide you want to keep the hens and to give us back to roosters, then you know what you're
How
getting.
awesome is that? What a great thing. I mean, even if you want to just do the eggs and let your children watch it, or if you want to have them in your backyard, and raise some eggs. It's just a fabulous thing to do. So here's their website right down here. And you just get on there and find out where they're at and give them a call. And within a couple of days, you'll have chickens in your backyard.
There you go.
It's all about loving life.
There you go.
Don't change the channel because we'll be right back. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Loving Life. You know, it's all about finding your passion, the thing that you love. It might be doing crafts, it might be writing a book, might be speaking before people, might be singing. I don't know. For everybody, it's different. It's that thing that turns you on, that gets you out of bed, that gets your heart beating, that makes you feel alive. And that's what you gotta find. That's what I love about doing this show. It helps. It's that part of me that I just love. I love talking to people and finding out what they love. It's the passion of life that you got to find. I hope you'll join me on my Facebook page. Just go to Loving Life with Dr. Weir, or you can go to my website, drtimweir.com. We're also on Instagram. We're on that tweet thing. I'm telling you, we're on a little bit of everything. I want you to love life as much as I love life. Until next time, keep loving life. All about loving life, and you can watch it every week. You do in your life that you crap. Never mind. Let me ask you, can you see my eye booger? Okay.
And I'm French. I was actually from Canada, from Quebec, Canada, but she moved to
You're
New
French?
Hampshire. Ben oui.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
So yes, as we were saying.
Glad he's pooping on you and not me.
That's okay, it's a little poop, I don't care.
It's a block of styrofoam.
Tape shut?
No. And never mind. 30 minutes as we discover how to shake and rattle and roll.